flat-footed and declare the word of God. See, our problem is we're waiting for the lost to come to us, and that's where we've got the words twisted. See, God wanted us to go out and cry out. Whether it is in your classroom, whether it is on the bus stop, whether it is on your IG or on your Twitter, it is your responsibility to go into the enemy's camp and let them know you are a soldier in the army of the Lord. It is your duty to stand on the word of God. Jonah, like many of us, quickly makes up in his mind. He has no desire to perform the duty, this task, this mandate from God to preach to Nineveh, so he decided to get out of Dodge. Some say he ran because he feared for what they might do to him if he did what God told him. Others says he ran because he didn't want to provide the people of Nineveh with the opportunity for God's grace or mercy. Whatever the case may be, he decided, I'm getting out of town. Mike, I warn someone right here that you must be careful when trying to run away from that which God has told you to do. In the words of my grandmama, you might end up jumping from the frying pan into the fire. See, Jonah, in an attempt to get away from God, he jumped on the boat to go to Tarshish, headed in a complete opposite direction. Tarshish is located on the western extremity of what is now modern-day Spain, when he was supposed to be going east. Okay, let me make it plain for those who didn't pass geography. God said, go east. Jonah said, I'm going west. Okay, I still don't think y'all got it. God said one thing. Jonah said, I'm doing another. Okay, can I bring it for the youth? Okay, God told you, wait, and he will find you the man you were looking for. But you said, no, I need a brother with no job, no thought of getting a job, and more excuses than an angle. If God told you one thing and you did another, you will find yourself in trouble. Can you tell your neighbor, when God speaks, listen.
When God speaks, listen.
For as Christians, we are soldiers in the army of the Lord. And we must stand and declare the truth to all men, even when uncomfortable. So the question that I'm posing on this morning is, what happens when duty calls, but you have no desire to answer? I'm here to press one claim, and here's the claim on this morning, that disobedience can lead you into bad places. But no matter how far you stray, know that God is with you, because all God wants from you is a yes. Jonah now found himself in the boat heading in the opposite direction, but while at sea the Lord has caused a mighty storm that begins to almost tear up the boat. The men on the ship are panicked, and Jonah knows that the storm is simply because of his disobedience and his failure to listen to God. He tries to sleep through the storm, and the shipmaster told him, no man, get up. So in an attempt to figure things out, they cast lots, causing everybody to start playing the blame game. But Jonah rightly tells him he is a Hebrew and he serves the God of heaven. Verse 9 in our text says that I am Hebrew and I fear the Lord God of heaven, which hath made the sea and the dry land. God's name here is translated to Elohim in Hebrew, designating him as the one true God. These sailors were serving multiple gods, polytheism, but Jonah makes it clear the power of his God, Yahweh. Even in a disobedient moment, Jonah's statement recognized the power of God. See, our God is so powerful that even those who won't worship him have to recognize his strength. The power of God will make even the hardest of heart submit. Verse 10 goes on to say that then were the men exceedingly afraid and said to him, why hast thou done this? For the men knew that he had fled from the presence of the Lord, and he had told them. At this point, this is the third time in the scripture that said that Jonah had fled from the presence of the Lord. Young people, if you don't get anything else from this sermon, please don't never run from the presence of God, but always run to it. Because in his presence there's a fullness of joy, and at the right hand there are pleasures evermore. Jonah, just like many of us intellectually gifted millennials, has come up with his own plan. But now it is seemingly gone under. However, there are a few lessons we can learn from this predicament we find Jonah in. The first thing that the text teaches us is that running opposite of God can cause you to become an outcast. Jonah running from his duty caused him to become an outcast on the ship. Let the church say outcast.
Amen.
Jonah, in an attempt to get away from God, hops on the ship, hoping to blend in like everyone else, but in all actuality, he finds himself sticking out. See, in verse 10, the men are asking, why has he done this? By verse 12, Jonah is willing to be thrown off the ship. And by verse 15, he's already thrown off of the ship. Jonah was an outcast because he was trying to fit in when he was born to stand out. Lest we forget that Jonah's name means dove, and doves are representation of the Holy Spirit. His father, Amittai, meant truth. So Jonah was born to impart truth. When you try to run away from that what you were born to do, you will always be an outcast. I came to tell somebody that the duty God has given you to complete will cause you to stand out even when you're trying to fit in. See, the anointing and the gifting that God has on your life will reveal itself in the most inconvenient times, but that's God's way of calling you to the work he has prepared for you. See, Jonah just wanted to go about his merry way, but God disrupted the boat because Jonah had a task to complete. It's right in the text. We don't see in the text, the men don't even know this God, but they ask him, why have you done this? People who don't know your God will begin to question you and your actions. See, your kingdom task will allow you to go along to get along, because even when you try to fake it, God will disrupt your plans. You're trying to figure out why they won't invite you to the party. You're trying to figure out why she won't text you back. But you have to realize that God has separated you because you can't even be amongst other people. And the words of Reverend Williams from my church, you've been picked out to be picked on, to be picked up. See, Jonah, in an attempt to run from the crowd, finds himself being an outcast. An outcast. Here the sailors offered a sacrifice to Jonah's God, but that's after they got him out the ship. Running for God will have you outcast, but running to him will put you in position. Tell your neighbor, get in position. See, you are outcast now, but when you get in position, you will go from the outhouse to the king's palace because you are in position. See, when you are in position, you will go from distress to blessed. Oh, y'all didn't hear me. I said when you are in position, you'll go from distress to blessed, because the Bible tells us that you are a chosen people. You are a royal priesthood. In other words, as children of God, you must find yourself set apart. Amen. Jonah teaches us that resisting the call of duty on our lives from God can not only leave you as an outcast, but you will also find yourself overboard. Running from God will cause you to find yourself overboard. Verse 15 says, so they took up Jonah and cast him forth into the sea, and the sea ceased from her raging. Overboard. Jonah found himself overboard. Now this verse says they took up Jonah, meaning he was lifted off his feet and casted into the sea. Water has always been a mystical thing, because in the same way in which water can be the signal of peace and tranquility, water can also be a very destructive force. In the text, the water is so destructive that it has beaten the ship and caused the sailors to throw Jonah overboard. To me, that seems to be a bit extreme, but running away from God will place you in some extreme circumstances. To go overboard, it is to go to an extreme in one direction or the other. Jonah went overboard in his attempt to run away from God, and now he found himself overboard about to drown. I believe some of us can attest that we too are like Jonah, and in our efforts to go against that which God has told us, we find ourselves in now new extremes, which led to risky and life-threatening circumstances. When under pressure circumstances, you might not make the wisest decision, especially when you're trying to prove you can do it all by yourself. The Bible does say that pride cometh before the fall. But the Peterson Message Bible translates James 4:4-6 like this. It says, you are cheating on God. If all you want is your way, flirting with the world every chance you get, you end up enemies of God and his way. And do you suppose God doesn't care? The proverb has it that he's a fiercely jealous lover. What he gives in love is in fact better than anything you'll find. It is common knowledge that God goes against the willful proud, but God gives grace to the willing humble. All Jonah had to say is, I hear you, God, and my answer is yes. I am going to assume that he would have said, God, I see you, I hear you, and my answer is yes, that God would have calmed the winds and the waves. However, we tend to go overboard. God sometimes has to remind us of his omnipotence, which simply means his all-powerfulness. Jonah found himself overboard, overwhelmed, and in his own self-created mess. Yeah. Have you ever found yourself overboard? You know, going in the wrong direction fast. You know, we often tend to think we can handle the situations we put ourselves in. Jonah, like a rebellious child, tries to run away and prove how grown he was, how big and bad he was. Now, I can't speak for you, but I know at times in my life I tried to prove how big and bad I was, but I had to realize that I needed God and I couldn't do it on my own because I couldn't afford the pressure and the weight of the circumstances I placed myself in. See, some of y'all don't understand, but let me put it this way. See, God told you no to that man, to that woman, but you had to dive in head first because you were so in love. Now you 3 years later, they told your car, ruined your credit, and broke your heart, overboard. God told you no to that job, but you had to take it. Now you're stressed out and head falling out, overboard. See, here is the thing. When we are against God, we run the risk of finding ourselves overboard in extreme conditions. You find yourself overboard, sinking in the mess and the mire of bad decisions, sinking in the guilt and shame of bad decisions that are seeds of your disobedience.
Preach.
Running from God will not just cause you to be outcast, but you also find yourself overboard. See, I believe that someone in the building whose life experiences have led them to sing just like Ty Tribbett. I tried it on my own. But when I found that I can't make it, so tell me, what can I do? Because I can't live without you. I can't breathe without you. Tell me, what can I do? Lord have mercy. And I'd love to tell you at this point, the story changes. I'd love to tell you that there was a shift, but sometimes in order for God to get you to submit, He has to take you all the way under. However, the truth of the matter is that even when you're out of place, you're never out of His presence. See, this was Jonah's predicament due to his choice. God gives us a choice. But what we learn from Jonah, that even when you are in the midst of your own bad decisions, you are never out of the will of God. Outcast, overboard, but never out of the will. I know somebody is saying now, how can I be running from the presence of God, but still in His presence at the same time? Out of place, but not out of His will, because God is omnipresent. Meaning that even when you're running, you can't get away from God because He's everywhere at the same time. Now, I know someone saying, young preacher, you must don't know how the story ends, because Jonah was eaten and placed in the belly of the whale. Well, this is true, but if you read verse 17 carefully, it says, now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah. God prepared the great fish because God knew what was needed for that situation. Even when you have been an outcast and thrown overboard, you're still in the will of God because God has a duty for you to complete. See, certain situations are necessary for you to freely walk into God's ultimate will. There is a thing called ultimate will, and then there is permissive will. See, permissive will is when God will allow and approve you to make your own decisions. God in His sovereignty can always enforce us to His perfect will, but He will allow us to make our own decisions without intervening. Now, God could have destroyed the boat, forcibly moved Jonah to Nineveh without all the drama, but He wanted to wait until Jonah chose to submit to His perfect will. Who am I talking to in this church? See, someone needs to know that God said He has plans for you. He's just waiting for you to submit to His sovereignty. I know He has plans for you because He says it in Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts that I have for you, said the thoughts of peace and evil to give you an expected end. God will allow you to make bad decisions.